Good evening, students and colleagues. It is my great pleasure to speak to all of you from Pennsylvania State University on behalf of ASM Penn State Chapter. As you can see, the title of my presentation is ASM and You. I would like to thank the Materials Advantage Penn State Chapter to give me this opportunity. Materials Advantage is a student association of 4 professional societies: American Ceramic Society, Association for Iron and Steel Technology, ASM International, TMS, the Minerals, Metals, and Materials Society. There are over 75 chapters throughout the world with thousands of members. As you know, there are many materials societies. Here are some major ones in the United States. The first one is AIME, American Institute of Mining, Metallurgical, and Petroleum Engineers, which was formed shortly after the Civil War in 1871. In 1984, it was divided into 4 societies. 2 of them, as TMS and AIST, are the member societies for Materials Advantage. Another 2 societies of the Materials Advantage Program is the Ceramic Society, which was formed in 1898, and ASM International, which was formed in 1913. So I want to show you my background in association related to those associations or those different fields. I grew up in a tungsten mine, which SMEM represents minerals. I got my bachelor degree in process metallurgy, which is about iron and steels. I got my master's degree on heat treatment, which is where ASM started. I got my PhD in physical metallurgy, that's what TMS is mostly about. When I become a professor, my research has been focusing on computational material science engineering. I have been members of ASM and TMS over 20 years. I served on the TMS board of directors. I served as ASM president and the board of trustees. This is just for the materials community, but it's still about this one. There's so many different disciplinaries, right? Okay, so I don't know, have you read this book or not? It's called The Democracy in America. I hope all of you do that. It's a fantastic book. This is a French person. He came to the United States. I spent less than 1 year. He traveled in the United States. He went back, then he wrote the book. Okay, and I didn't have time to read the books, but I listened to his book. I listened to his book, I believe, is probably last year. No, my wife bought the Audible, so we get so many books in the Audible. So it's one of the books I listened to. And the reason he concluded that the American culture is called individualism. So he's from France, right? So he contrasted the traditional hierarchies in Europe, and they say US is so different. It's so different. It's so individual. Okay, but of course, it's good thing about individual, but also the bad thing about the individual side is that every citizen being assimilated to all the rest is lost in the world, in the crowd. See, you lose kind of your identity, kind of thing. You're so individual, but you assimilate. So then people find out, let's form organizations, okay? So the so many organizations. Remember that the AME was 1800, right? So it's about 50 years after this one, the paper, this book. Okay, then how does it connect to my understanding? As I mentioned, I grew up in China, so I grew up here. I got my bachelor, master degree in China. I went to Sweden. I got my PhD there, and then I came to the United States in '96. I've been now for more than 25 years now. So look at the three very different culture, right? Very different hierarchies. So during this process, I was in China for 20 some years. I was in Sweden for close to 10 years. In the United States, as mentioned, 25 years now. A few years back, I tried to talk, people always ask me, what's the difference between three different places? So then I decided I'm going to use one word to describe each of these different experiences I had. So I came up with one word for each region. I share with you, see what do you think about it. In China, it's a king. We talk about 5,000 years history. It's all about the kings. We have so many kings. The last king was like in 1912 or it's early 1900, okay? And so everybody look up. Everybody looks up at the king, see what the king decides what to do, okay? So I kind of looking upwards with the king at the top. And in Europe, everything you discuss, you reason it. So you look horizontally, everything you discuss. I mean, it's so amazing. In our student association, we discuss everything we buy, we discuss it. So it's very, very democratic, but it's in the way that like in the book, it's more like a kind of very, but it still have this kind of hierarchy and decision-making process. Then came to the United States, this was my own conclusions, individualism. So you look inside yourself. I saw that's very close to the book. I was very excited. That's why I think that book is so, at least interesting to me, because it's in alignment with my thoughts. All right. So I want to congratulate to all of you. I know many of you are MA students. And there's few things to congratulate you people. First is that you get to college, right? I'm the first generation in my family, in 3 generations to be in the college. If you give the number here, it's actually pretty hard to get in. Think about this one. So 2/3 of the high school students get in college. So that's not too difficult, right? 2.1 million out of 3.2 million in the United States. And there are about 7% of them, only 7% choose engineering. So it's about 150,000 a year. And how many choose material science? 3% out of 7%. This is a very small portion, very small portion. So it's pretty hard, right? Think about this selection process. So I congratulate you for getting the material science. The second one is that most of you joined the MA. So that means you're thinking beyond the classrooms. Okay, it's only for one quarter of the material students. So quarter of this 4,000 get into the MA. Okay, so then what does that mean? That means you are very special. You're so special, and the chance to get into this position is very small. The statistic-wise, it's very, very small, right? From 3.2 million and to like 1/4 of the materials grad students. So that are in resonance with my thinking too. Okay, that's got I have a dark list TKC theory. If you search Google dark list TKC theory, you find my YouTube channel, which I have a few videos about the TKC theory. The reason I developed the TKC theory is because when I started to become professor, when I became a professor, I found that I had to find a way. I had to find a way to motivate my students. You know, I found that how to do that. So during this process, in my 20-some years, I created this theory, and I used it to work with my students. And as far as I understood, that they think it's a good idea. So I keep on doing that. I do it once a year to my group. So when I was the president of the ASM International, I made the president coin here. I put this slogan, a motto on my coin, kind of do better than your best. So I think that's what your people are doing. Okay, you continue to do better than your best because you think out of you beyond the classroom and so forth. Okay, I want to use one slide to talk about the TKC theory. And because you're all material scientists, TKC theory, TKC stands for Thermodynamics, Kinetics, and Crystallography. See, some of the students here are in my 410. That's the title of my class. I changed the name of my class to TKC. Okay, so we are not in the thermodynamic section yet. We are getting kinetics and crystallography. So you see, for any system, either stable, metastable, unstable. There's three kind of configuration states. And you change that, right? Thermodynamics give you define your goals. So that's what you define your goals, where to go. And after you define your goals, then you evaluate driving force. Okay, you evaluate driving force. That's you get integral driving force. So it's very important. So you want your goal good enough, big enough, you get enough driving force, but don't make it too big because you're gonna crash yourself, right? Okay, but you don't make it too small, you're gonna board. So balance your driving force is very important. And then you have to find the optimal path to go over the barrier to reach your goal. So you have to work hard, right? And however, when you work hard, it's not enough by yourself. You maybe want to work with, make sure you be coherent with yourself and with your family. And you have to change your goal, sometimes. All right, so the rest of the TKC theory, you can go to watch my YouTube and get that one. Okay, the question now is that you're not in the third year or fourth year or whatever year you have, but you only have 4 years to go in college. What would you like to do after your bachelor degree? Oh, you said, oh, I don't know. I just focus on getting my 4.0 first GPA. I'm already stressful enough for me to work on my classrooms, right? So, but if you already think about the MA, that means you're thinking out of the classroom, right? Why don't you think a little longer term, right? Think about it, you graduate, after you graduate, what can you do? Well, I give you a few options. You can start your own business, right? That means you go to industry, right? Kind of industry, you study your own business. That's good, that's one option. But I know that very few people do that, and at least not at the beginning. So next one is, okay, find an industry, work in the industry. So in our department, 2/3 of students go to industry. And quite a few of them get an MBA degree after that. 2/3, right? That means the rest of 1/3 goes to grad school, right? Okay, so grad school, you have 2 degrees, you can get a master's degree. So master's degree, I get a number from my group. So I have 11 students in my group went to get a master's degree. That's 20 years. After that, you have a choice. You can go to industry. 4 of them did that, 40%. Another 60% went to PhD degree. Nobody went to national lab. That's probably don't take a master's degree. So there's 7 students go to PhD. Of course, there's some other people directly go to PhD. So I graduated 29 PhD students. 13 of them went to industry. 7 to the national lab, 7 to the university, 2 to the post, 2 still are in postdoc. So you can see about 20%, close to half, 50%, close to 50%, right? Suppose the 2 postdoc, they all go to industry, that'd be 15 to industry. So about 50% of the students, PhD students go to industry, another 50% evenly distributed in national lab and university. Probably, overall speaking, more go to national lab and a few go to university because you have fewer positions in universities. So look at this one. Do a calculation. How many students after get a bachelor degree go to industry? Anybody want to answer the question? James is in my class. James is doing calculation. I can see from his eyes. His eyes is moving. Any thoughts? Any estimations? Okay. If it's not, over 80%. over 80% of bachelor students go to industry. Some of them got a master's degree, some of them got a PhD degree. Okay, 80%. So at Penn State, we have like 200 undergrad students. Oh no, over 200. So that means 160 of you will go to industry. It doesn't matter where you get a bachelor degree, master's degree, PhD. Right? So then I mentioned so many societies, right? So which society should you join if you're in the industry? Well, you think I look at it, right? So let's look at the numbers. So there's one society has 10% of members from industry, 80% from academia. So which society is this one? Do you know? It's not one of the materials advantage societies. Give you a hint. That is a society created at Penn State. Created by our material scientists at Penn State. No guess? There's MRS. Okay, 80% of the members are for industry. Next one. 39 for industry, 42 from the academia. Which society is this one? This is one of the materials advantage societies. So it jumped from 10% to 39%, 4 times higher. Want to guess? Nobody want to guess? That's TMS. The last one I'm going to show, 79% for industry, 19% from the academia. Which one is this one? It's one of the materials advantage societies. Got to be the ASM International, right? Okay, that's pretty good, right? 80%, right? 80% is for industry. So that means, well, you know, that's one point we should consider. Okay, myself, as I mentioned, I'm the members for both TMS and ASM. Okay, I've been members for both society for over 20 years. All right, so let's talk about what ASM. How much do you know about ASM? So how many of you? I don't know if any of you have been at this magnificent structure. I want to show. I hope I can show the movie. Oh, I think I need to turn this off. Automatic. I can click here. In 2 minutes. Okay, I think you can watch the rest of this one on the YouTube. If you go to my YouTube channel, I have a playlist for ASM International. I have 18 videos there. It covers all the seasons of ASM headquarters. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay. So next time, if you happen to go to Cleveland area, drive by it, and it's open. You can drive pass into it, drive over there, and have a look. It's magnificent. All right. So I closed my video. Okay, so it's a very fascinating structure. And this land here, it was 500 acres donated by one of our managing director, and back many years ago. I'm going to show that a little bit. Okay, TMS. So let's more about ASM. Is the Materials Information Society, a highly information. Okay, it's very important. Is that we have about 20,000 members. Is the largest one in the United States. If you think about maybe in the world. And if you think about TMS and MRS, TMS have 7,000 professional members and 5,000 students from MA. And also like in MRS, also similar. Okay, so the major value for as a member is that, of course, you get a professional development, and again, is technical information about materials. So again, this is my president coin. Has the other side of the coin. In terms of value, provide knowledge, education, networking, and the professional development. That's the value it has. And let's talk about materials information. So what do we really mean by materials information, or how ASM looks at materials information? Let's go back to history of ASM. ASM, as I mentioned, was formed in 1913. It was created by a person called William Parker Woodside. And the idea was that when the industrial progress in the United States took place, they found a lot of information people need to share among the craftsmen and employees. The technique, how to do it, how to do heat treatment, basically at that time. So they started putting them together, okay? And then after that one, William Hunt Eisenman, that's why I mentioned it's Eisenman donated that land to the ASM headquarters. And in 1919, ASM has 25 chapters already. Okay. And the 21, we got 31 chapters. It's already a large organism by that time. And in 1919, that is the first very unique event. It's exposition of equipment and products. Usually you have products or equipment, right? But it's the first one they did in 1919, and it has been done. It was did for 53 years after that, and then different fractions formed in the United States. Then they decided they have to unify together. They had a Philadelphia reunification meeting in 1921, and they formed a society called the American Society for Steel Treating. Well, that's Pennsylvania, right? In Philadelphia, that's where our Constitution was signed too. Okay. So that's good. And then 1933, changed to American ASM for metals because it's not only steel, it's all other alloys. And what is the information material ASM has been doing? Okay, in 1921 already, start publishing the transaction. Okay, that's just a few years after its creation, right? And then get the award. That's to 1921. Then start to publish the data sheets for practice, the best practice in 1923. And then continues to publish the data sheets, become more and more, then from books, first is three ring the books, and then they printed the books. And in 1948, as last single volume publication, it has 1,000 pages in 1948, after World War II. The 7th edition of the volume, single volume. And now today, we have 38 volumes of the materials handbook. That's what we call the Green Book. Okay, who did them? All the members, volunteers. Okay, this is just one type of publication. Another one we put a little alloy phase diagram, binary phase diagram, ternary, modern component. That's all ASM published for the metal side. Okay. 38 volumes. It's all done by volunteers. That's just amazing. Think about this one, by members. So of course, now we go to the digital time. We have the digital content on the ASM website. We have the education. Okay, so education is always part of it, right? Because we have to educate the people. For example, after you graduate, you learn some knowledge, for example, from my class, right? But however, there's so many new things you have to learn when you get in industry. Where do you learn them? Well, you can go to ASM, okay? Learn the practical things you have not learned in the classrooms. All right, so what's next, right? We got our handbooks, what's next? Of course, you probably heard about Industry 4.0 and Manufacturing 4.0. Today, I want to show you Materials 4.0. So what is the Industry 4.0? It's basic integration of the cyber and the physical systems through digitization. So digital is the key for the new era. And they have Manufacturing 4.0, basically called the digital twin. You want everything in the digital form, all the process, all the digital information. And the manufacturing is basically making materials to a product. So that's what naturally comes with the Materials 4.0. I wrote a small article there, published ASM magazine. If you go ASMP 2020-02, page 50, you see that short paper. So in the paper, I mentioned the Materials 4.0 actually has two components at the moment, as we know. It's Materials General Initiative, that's by the White House in 2011, and also Integrated Computation Materials Engineering. It's ICME, the term was coined in 2008. Okay. So in the last 20 years, has been huge development in terms of the Materials 4.0. So that means when you go to industry, you'll be part of it. You'll be part of it. So to do that, one ASM has a strategic plan, and we have a vision. It's all information. Okay, it's information. It's the information. Previously, we have a data sheet, we have the handbook. Now we go, of course, we're going to do more. We're going to do more technical information, three critical areas: the membership, technical excellence, and the partnerships. Work with different societies, and the 4 strategic initiatives. Digital first. We got to get digital. Our handbooks, I talk about 38 volumes, right? All of them are digital now. You can download them, and you have to buy them, and you can buy even individual chapters now online. And then we have to do the interdisciplinary, right? We have to work with other disciplines. We're a global network, and of course, DEI is very critical, right? Very critical, because now we can more and more diverse in our workforce. Okay, the future, this is the ASM future data ecosystem. So we're gonna have the making data, right? We're gonna create the data. You have different places, your national labs, industry, and the ASM itself, and the computed data. And then you're gonna put the data together, and we call the material data store. Okay? And then the data itself is not gonna be useful. I have to use them. So to do that, you have the tools. Okay, so we have 3 levels of the information: creation, storage, repository, and use. Okay? And then got to educate people. So that's where our education program, we call it data school. Okay, that's 4 major components for ASM future data ecosystem. Okay, so now what about you, right? Talk about all ASM, so what about you? So let's talk about what ASM is about. Volunteers. That's means all the books were done by volunteers. Okay, and so you are now part of it already. You're in Materials Advantage. And next thing is chapters, right? Amy, you're here going to say a few words after a few slides, and then you can join committees, and then you can join affiliate societies. The affiliate society, ASM has 6 affiliate societies, part of ASM family. And of course, you can also, join the, now, what they'll do is that we do events, we have publications, we have education, we have partnerships. And after that one, you say, you still want to do more, okay? You can do the board of trustees to chart a strategy of ASM. And of course, to do all kinds of, all these things, we need to have our operational arm. So we have managing directors with headquarters that shows the beautiful dome of departments and employees. So what does that mean? That means, well, you have done one step already. You're part of materials advantage. That's very good. And of course, there's another one, alpha sigma mu. If you want to, this honors material society. I don't know whether we have it at Penn State or not. I don't think we have it. But you know, if you want to do that, you can do one more. And they can join the chapters. We have so many chapters. We have 68 in the United States, 8 in Canada, India. I think we have now 9. Europe, we have 2, and China have 1, Mexico have 1. Okay, we have Leadership Day at the Dome every year. And then you can do the committees, right? So you still want to do more committees, the publication, the conferences that were done at those committees. Because the committees organize kind of these books, okay? Oh, we need a new book, we need to revise the book, and so forth. And you can join a different society. You see, I really like the thermal spray. Well, okay, that's right. We have a thermal spray committee for affiliate society for you. I really like the failure analysis. We have another affiliate society for you to join. So why don't create your own? That's right. Why don't create your own committee? Okay, I like to have a new committee. And after that one, you can get a board trustee. Now I highlighted here, our board has the professionals and also have students. Okay, if any one of you would like to be on the board, we have student board members. We select from around the global. And you can nominate yourself, or you can talk with me, talk with Hallie, talk with Amy, and nominate into the board. We take 3 new students every year. Okay. Yet I have not seen anyone from Penn State yet. Maybe we should have some from Penn State. Okay. All right. So keep asking questions. You have done that already. You ask yourself to join the material science and get an MA. Next, always ask the question, why am I doing this? Okay. Then how can you do it better? And you cannot find a solution, look at my TKC theory. All right. Okay, I think that's my last slide. I'll now turn this to Amy. No, you're muted.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you, Dr. Liu. That was super informative. I just have a few things that I want to share with everybody specific to our Penn State ASM chapter. And so how you guys can get directly involved now while you're still students here, in addition to some of the things that Dr. Liu had shared. So this is our current officer list for the Penn State ASM chapter, and I'm sure you guys recognize quite a few names on that list. You've probably taken classes with several of us. So if you have any questions about the Penn State ASM chapter or how you can get more involved, definitely contact any one of us, and we're happy to help you out or direct you to who can. Go ahead, thank you. So the Penn State ASM chapter had been pretty active for a long time, certainly through the 90s and early 2000s, and I'm sure well before that. But in 2010, the chapter kind of became inactive. And so there wasn't a lot going on with the Penn State ASM chapter until January of 2019, where Dr. Liu and myself and some of the other officers that you saw in the last slide came together and decided that we really wanted to reactivate our Penn State ASM chapter. We saw a lot of value in that. And so it was revitalized in 2019. And some of the kind of highlights that we did that over that year and a half since COVID, or before COVID, was we had a really wonderful golf tournament. It was the Materials Invitational Golf Tournament and luncheon for those of us who are not golfers. But that was a lot of fun. It brought many material scientists from undergraduate students, graduates, postdocs, faculty, staff, everyone together, which was really fun. And we have also been participating in a career fair that Engineering, Science, and Mechanics has been holding. So now we're holding that jointly with MATC. That is a mini career fair, which is held the week of the big career fair in September, so the main Penn State career fair. But this one is much smaller and geared towards materials companies, where you can get a lot more interactions and networking with them in a much smaller setting, more one-on-one time. And we hope to do that this coming fall. So if you will be here in the fall, definitely look out for information on that. Some of the things that are upcoming for this coming year, obviously we haven't done a whole lot this past year with COVID, but we have a technical presentation coming up in just 2 weeks. That's with Don Heaney. He is the CEO of Applied Powder Products. It's a powder metallurgy company just here in Port Matilda, so pretty close to State College, and he'll be giving a presentation on Zoom at 7 p.m. on the 24th. So maybe mark your calendars to attend that. And then we'll do the mini career fair in the fall. We're looking forward to doing some more community outreach events. All of the ones have been canceled recently, including the spring events, career days and science fairs that we like to do through the State College School District and Penns Valley District. Anyway, so we're hoping to get to do those again in the fall whenever they open them back up. So we'll have additional technical presentations from various industry members, and then not this year, we won't be able to do the golf tournament, but hopefully next spring. We're looking forward to doing that golf tournament and luncheon again. So I hope that you guys can join with that. So those are some things very specific to our Penn State group. I also wanted to show you a little bit about what ASM has to offer to students specifically. There are a lot of ASM scholarships that are open to you all. When I was looking on there earlier today, there were 7 different scholarships that you could apply for, and there are many. They give multiple scholarships for each one. So if you add them all up, there's just so much money and financial aid available to you. So I would really encourage you to look at the website. I put it on the bottom of the slide. Go to the website and look at some of the scholarships they have available. Networking and engagement, that is so important, guys, to just kind of get out there and start meeting people in industry from other universities, some of your colleagues. You'll be amazed once you graduate what a small world material science is. You know, it seems so vast right now, but once you actually get out there and start working with people, it really shrinks. And having the opportunity, especially through ASM, to network will really help you in the long run. So I highly encourage you to do that. One of the great ways to do that is through conference attendance. So ASM hosts IMAT, which is the International Materials Applications and Technologies. Their next meeting will be this coming September. And it's in St. Louis. They will often pay for travel of students to come to the conferences, or they'll have scholarships and aid for that, particularly if you're going to take part in any of the student competitions that they have. They have speaking contests, poster contests, paper contests, materials design contests, lots of really neat opportunities. So if you're interested in any of those things, definitely check out the website that's on the bottom of this slide to get more information. It's just, they have so many great opportunities for students. Dr. Liu mentioned the student board member opportunities. You could be a member of the ASM board. How exciting is that? And what a really cool experience it would be for you guys. Amazing for your resumes and great for networking. So I would encourage you, if you're interested in something like that, to again, go online, get some more details, and perhaps apply. Other things as an ASM member, special conference rates, magazine subscriptions. So lots of the technical magazines that come out, there's so much. But again, check out the website. And then if you have any questions, see me or Dr. Liu or Dr. Beasy or just anyone who is involved with ASM. Okay, does anyone have any questions for us?
And I want to add that the scholarship is big money, $1,000, some of them. And I think it's pretty amazing how much money is there on the table.
I had a question.
Go ahead.
The student board member opportunity, I didn't even know about that. That sounds awesome. Can you describe like kind of what responsibilities you would have for that?
So mainly as a board members, that you're going to participate in all the board meetings. And the student become has 3 members, right? So they form a kind of smaller group on the board to actually design some activities particularly for students. And that's the second. The third one is that you can actually make suggestions to what ASM should do in order to involve more students. Yeah, Dana, you have some reply there? Dana, please.
Sure. If I don't want to jump in too much here, but that's one of my areas that I really would like to make sure students are aware of this opportunity to become a student board member. You know, unlike Ziquei, I spent all of my career in industry, and it would have been fantastic to have the background of being able to participate on a board. That's really, it's not just a matter of where you're, you know, put on the side with just one individual task. No, you're allowed to participate and attend all of the Board of Trustees meetings. And so you can understand how large organizations function. I believe it'll provide you with a very good understanding and a great opportunity here. And as Professor Liu was mentioning, we do also encourage our students and provide the funding and wherewithal to create a different activity that would be a benefit to the society. It helps the students also network and get to know individuals. And, you know, all the board members come from all different, well, not only all different countries, but all different areas and industries and et cetera. So, you know, one has the opportunity to network very widely in this case. Indeed, I know when I served my time on the board, one of the individuals who was a student at the time, a student board member, she was able to very effectively use her contacts that she made to end up in a very good position at a large corporation. So this is you know, very sound networking capability and offers you the ability to develop your own talents in a very non-threatening type of environment. So please do apply for that. Ra, encourage you.
Thank you, Dana.
Sure.
I do want to introduce another person, Judy Todd. Judy Todd is the department head of our engineering science mechanics, and she is also our vice president. So she will be president next year. Judy, you want to say a few words?
I'd just like to say hello, and I would like to reiterate all the excitement about ASM that Ziquei and Diana and Amy have given to you. I have actually been a member of ASM for almost 40 years. And so I came over to the States in '78, and it was the first organization I joined when I came here. And it has provided such a valuable network of people from industry, government, and academia that have supported and enhanced my career. You just never know when the next opportunity is going to come up. And they come from the most unexpected directions. And having a network of people to bounce ideas off, to recognize you as a very accomplished young person and to support your career, it's a very important part of building your leadership skills and your reputation. And the good part about ASM is, and the materials profession, as you all know, is it's such a flexible profession. It goes into so many different fields, whether it's mechanical, aerospace, electrical, biomedical. Nowadays, the world is so interdisciplinary and so dependent upon materials that you could be, you know, we have people in our department that started off working on the finer points of point defects in semiconductors. And they are now designing vaccines and head of the vaccine design campus for Sony Pasteur and working on COVID and malaria vaccines. And that's where their career has taken them, beginning with a materials background. So think very big, and this is a starting point, and it's ASM has wonderful opportunities, whichever direction you wish to take your career. So that's basically just a nutshell.
Thanks, Judy. Thanks, Judy. Okay, students, do you have any questions? And I think I turn the podium back to Hallie.
I just wanted to ask, I guess this is more of a Dr. Robinson question. And if students want to get more information about, Penn State ASM and, information about meetings or events that you guys have, how would they do that?
So they can email myself or anybody on the officers list. If they're in Dr. Liu's class or Dr. Beasley's class, whatever, feel free to ask them or just send me an email. It's amy.robinson@psu.edu. And I'm happy to give information to you. We'll send out announcements for our ASM chapter activities here on campus through Meg and Haley. So you'll get those as well.
Oh, and Amy, for students, all the national activities are available to the students in the chapter if they sign up for ASM Connect. So one of the things that you could do is go to the website with your Materials Advantage membership and sign up as part of ASM Connect. And then you will find all kinds of exciting seminars and webinars and leadership activities that you're eligible to participate in. And that is something that, if you have the time, it would be well worthwhile.
And if I could just add on to that, now that, of course, many of us are functioning in a virtual world, ASM has really stepped up. And we have many of our, our conferences, our chapter presentations. So once you get onto ASM Connect, you can then look at calendars and see, okay, well, what is that chapter in India speaking about? And you could go and listen to that if that's a topic of interest to you, as well as, chapters from all over the country. In 1 week, I essentially traveled, quote unquote, all around the country, listening to different presentations. So yes, I'm very proud of ASM to have really stepped up to and offered these services to our members. And as Professor Todd said, this is also open to you as Materials Advantage members. So please do come into our ASM Connect, and please do participate. If you have, we have sites where you can ask questions of the entire membership and get some responses if you have things of interest there. So please do participate in that also.
I have a question about, I saw on your website, on the ASM website, it talked about the undergraduate scholarship program, and under the description it said that most awards include a certificate of recognition as well as a stipend to attend annual award ceremony. Is that all included in that? Like, would students know beforehand, like, which award ceremonies that they would be going to?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you have been nominated for an award and you've been selected, you're definitely going to receive a notice from the society that you've received an award.
Yeah. And how are the scholarships distributed? Because I see there's a list of different scholarships, and some of them are merit-based, and some of them, it doesn't say if you have to do anything for them. So how does that work?
And most of them you have is that they will provide travel for the conference too.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll be able to attend the meeting. You can even, some of them you can even participate in symposium for that too.
So are they? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say some of the awards also have a monetary value attached to them, don't they?
No, most of them have.
Not just beyond the travel for the award.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Beyond the travel,
there might be a $2,500 award, and then you get your travel to the conference,
exactly,
meeting, so that you can be recognized by the community at large at the meeting.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's what happens. That we have luncheon, There's Monday luncheon at the meeting. That's got leadership there and scholarships. So a lot of students there. Actually, one of my former bachelor student, Laura Jean, and she has a few of them as recognized at the luncheon.
And this would take place at our annual meeting, which is the IMAT meeting. That's traditionally, as far as I'm aware, almost all of them would be around that event. You know, at this point in the pandemic, yes, we've had to go virtual, and we're hoping in the the near future to go at the very least a hybrid type of event. So,
but if you look at the scholarships and you think you might be eligible, then the best thing to do would be to touch base with Amy or Dr. Liu or myself or someone from the executive committee, because to be nominated, you probably have to put a package together, and you have to write a statement about why you think you should be nominated or why you qualified for the award. And you may have to get some letters to go with it too. And so this is really good experience for learning how to put a package together to demonstrate your accomplishments and sell yourself. And so that's often a stumbling block for people because they think, oh, I couldn't be qualified for this. But that's why we have a local chapter, and we can put you in touch with people that could perhaps help you prepare your packages.
Okay, thank you.
And if you go to ASM Connect and get on ASM Connect, there's actually a video on there that was put together by one of the staff on how to put a package together. So it may be helpful to you.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Actually, I apologize. I have another meeting at 6, so it's been lovely meeting you all, and I hope you'll excuse me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Judy.
Bye.
Any other questions from anyone? All right, well, this was great. I definitely, even being president of Material Advantage, learned a lot from this too. So thank you so much, Dr. Liu and Dr. Robinson and Diana, for coming and talking about ASM. And definitely, guys, reach out if you have more questions. And hopefully this was helpful. So yeah, that's it. I hope everyone has a good night.
Great.
Matt, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
participating.
Thank you, everyone.
Great to meet you.
Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Adam.
Thank you.
You did. Thanks again, guys, for doing this. I think it was great. We had pretty good participation. So
That's good. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Hallie.
Thanks for having us, Haley. Take care.
yeah, have a good night.
Good night. Bye.